and okay, do you have some question? And maybe we can come back to some things that maybe we covered a little bit too fast. So don't hesitate. I don't want to be in a kind of monologue during all the day. It will be a little bit boring if we do like that. So please, yes, participate and don't hesitate for question. Okay, so
sorry, my apologies. Also, just a quick note to the team as well as yourself, Sylvain. We obviously have a team here with different experiences and abilities on Microsoft Project as a tool. Some of our users, many actually on this call, are advanced users, are comfortable with the tool. It's really the introduction of this tool as an Amarenco specific tool, and then others who are not new to it but don't have as much experience on it. So if we if there's any hesitation from those who are not as familiar with it, that's great. And those who are high-end users, please, like I said, please keep attentive because it is Amarenco specific. So there will be add-ons to your usual knowledge as well. Thank you.
Okay, so you already saw the list of topics that we have to cover today. The first will be to discover Project Online, to see what it is, because maybe some people knows about Project, but not really in an online context. So we have some specificity here, how to access to it, where is the address, and globally how it works. After we have configure a project and initialization of a project, so we will start with a blank project and see how to create tasks, milestones, summary tasks, some basic things, build some links between the tasks, and discuss a little bit about how to structure a project to have something readable, maintainable, and so that we can use the planning on day to day. Because if we have maybe a 2,000 task project, it will be a nightmare to manage. So we will see some guidelines, some best practices to build a planning which is sustainable and that you can use in your daily operations. After, we will see that we created some Amarenco templates. So you will not start with an empty project each time that you have to manage a project. You will start with a basic project built in a template. And from this template, you will create your own project with the specificity of the project in terms of duration, etc. So we will see how to use it, why we have this template, and how to deal with that. So at this step, we have a planning. We have some planning for the project with correct guidelines, etc. So now the project will start, and we will manage achievement, because we will not stop to use project when the project is planned, but also when the project starts, we have to use the project to tell where we are, what are the tasks which are finished, where do we have maybe some delay, problems, etc. So we have to manage achievement, because sometimes things does not happen exactly how we expected that they will happen. We have to manage gaps, to replan the planning, because we have some delay on some tasks. So of course all the past tasks must be scheduled in the future. So obliged, otherwise they will never be run. And last point, we will talk about budget management at the end of the day, to see how to forecast different costs. What do we expect to do, in fact? How do we forecast the cost, and how can we say, okay, the costs are now actual, and how to use some reports for that, to yes, to have a view and to create some document to show where we are, what is the status of the cash flow and the budget for my project. Okay. Is there some question at that time? Is it clear?
Yeah.
So then we can start. We are quickly on time, so it's 8 on my side. So we will start to discover project online. So what does it mean? So we will see. So it's a small part. How project online is integrated in your work environment. So we are working in Microsoft 365. So to see how it is integrated. We will discuss the web interface, which is called PWA, like Project Web App. So Project Web App is a web interface where we will see what we can do on the web. We will also see that some parts are not done on the web because we need a more strong tool, in fact, to manage details of the planning, etc. So it's Project Professional that maybe some of you already knows because it's really the same MS project as always, and it's not really specific to Project Online. So Project Professional is one component of the Project Online planning solution. So it's the main tool for the PM because globally you will mostly use Project Professional to schedule and to declare the achievement of the task. And one thing which is really, really important to understand, and it's really the main difference between Project Online and Project Professional that you maybe already know, it's how to publish, how to check in, what does it mean exactly, because it's a thing that people maybe don't really understand when they start to use, because we are used to work with files. So why do we have to publish or to check in? What does it mean? So we will study this part now. So integration in Microsoft 365. So Project Online is an online tool, and this tool is integrated in the Microsoft environment. So it's because it's a Microsoft tool. It's integrated in the Microsoft Cloud environment. So it's not only a tool like Word that you have on your computer, but it's integrated in the global Office 365 environment in the web. Same way as SharePoint, as maybe Outlook or the different tools that are available in for your company. There is one specificity in your case, and maybe it's a risk of confusion about that. The address that we have here is maybe not the address that you are used to work with. Because currently there is an IT project where you will be transferred from the old domain to the Amawenco Group domain. So it's what we call a tenant in the Microsoft world. So you will change, you will use a new tenant. That means that concretely you have one username now. Maybe you are connected with one username, which is your normal, I would say, email address. But in Microsoft Project Online, you will use your new account. So normally you should have received another username and password to connect to the new environment, which starts with amawenco group.sharepoint.com, and under it you will see we will have two instances of project, one for production and one for test. So we will go further to this part. So we are in a Microsoft environment, and so we will find our different tool. And I think that in the first half of the next year, everybody will use completely this infrastructure here in amawenco group and not the old infrastructure. So Project Online is built on this address here. So we will have to install Project Online on your computer. Maybe it's already done. After when we will go to the exercise, you will maybe discuss a little bit this point. To install, you have to move to this address here, which is displayed here. So portal.office.com/account, and you will see a part which is apps and device, where you will be able to install MS Project because you have some licenses assigned to you. So I checked yesterday. So everybody normally in this group has a Project Online license. So you will have to install MS Project on your computer. So on the exercise part, we will discuss maybe more case by case if it is the case. Yes, Ronan, I see that you have a question.
The PWA prod, PWA test, Sam, is that the same place where the we needed to go into Incognito to access the new CRM system?
Yes, it's in the same the tool that we call PPM. So the application which will replace, in fact, NetSuite is hosted in the same environment than PWA. We are exactly in the same environment.
Okay.
So you have to use exactly the same user, the same password as the PPM solution. Yeah.
Okay.
So just briefly present the PWA web interface. So when you connect to the address that I described here, so to this address, you will see something like this. So a home page with two main tiles here, which is projects. So we will go to projects, and when we click on this, you will access to the project center, where you will find all the projects that are currently created in the environment. So every line here is another project. So for the moment, we have a lot of Austrian projects, but very soon we will add here all the projects that are in the project phase, not in the lead phase, but at a certain time. So when you introduce a little bit the PPM solution, we manage the lead phase and define some dates, but at a certain moment, all of each lead, when the maturity of the lead is enough advanced, you will have to create a Project Online planning, and it will generate automatically a new project here, assigned to the correct template, so the Austrian, Spain, Portugal, Ireland, Oman, Egypt, Morocco, etc. So it will be created here and available here as a template. So here it's the project center with every project. Okay. And after, if we click, for example, on one project, like here, Luz Tondela 1, we will have the detail of the planning. So we are completely in the web interface here. We have the list of tasks with a Gantt chart, in fact, of the project. So the different tasks that are available here to work to manage the planning. But in the web environment, everything here is in web. So this view here in the web is more dedicated for read-only mode because it should be interesting to display the planning in the web and not to open it in Project Pro if you just want to see what is the date of the LTA selection completed task, or in fact to see the main phases of the project. So this is a web interface, so everybody with an access to the Project Online can see the list of projects, so dedicated to your company. So it does not mean that everybody will see everything. We have some user rights and user access policy in place to show you only what you need to see. It's not necessary to see everything, of course. And after, to see the detail of the planning in the web interface. So this is the PWA web interface. So I will make a demonstration for that just after. After, we have the Project Professional tool, which is the main tool for you. And to open a project in a Project Professional, you still continue to go to the Project Center. You recognize here it's the Spanish project, sorry. And you have to click on this icon here with a form of a Gantt, small Gantt chart. If you click here, it will open Project Professional. First, you will be warned because it tells you, oh, be careful because maybe it's something dangerous for your computer, but you can trust. There is no problem with the tool, of course. So you have to click on yes, and after it will open the same project, but this time in the Project Professional interface, and you will see the same list of tasks for this project. And here it's more dedicated for read-write mode if you want to change dates and to manage, in fact, your project. Okay. We will see also how to deal with a new ribbon, a new menu, because normally in MS Project you don't have an Abarenco menu, of course, but you have a lot of menus here, task, resource, report, project, etc. So sometimes it can be a little bit complicated to see where the different commands are located. We have a lot of menus, so when we integrate Project Online in INEOS, we very often build customized ribbon with a list of the commands that are suitable for you. And you see the main tasks that you have to do are available here. So sometimes maybe some operations are not present here, but we can after add them to simplify how to use Project Online, because some things are not easy to find, like update tasks. It's not something that is really easy to find in the menus. So this one as well. So here you have a kind of a cockpit here to save, publish, build a team, set the baseline, display the baseline, etc. So everything at a single place. So just after in the exercise, we will see how to install this ribbon here to have all these functions available for you. Now, last point for this introduction of Project Online, the save, publish, and check-in process. So, as I said in the introduction, sometimes it could be a little bit difficult to understand what it means, but in fact, it's really simple. When you want to edit a project, you have to check it out. It means that only one person at a time is able to modify the planning in MS Project, in the web or in MS Project Pro. As soon as you say, okay, I want to open it and edit it, to change it, the project will be locked for you and nobody else will be able to make the operation in the same time. Okay, the modifications are done really one by one. So in your case, normally it's not a problem because the projects are not defined to be maintained by 2 or 3 people in parallel. But sometimes it could be some problem. So in MS Project, we don't have any possibility of co-edition. So we edit it one person at a time. That's why it's important to follow this process here each time that you want to modify. So you open the project by clicking on the icon that I show you just before. At that time, the project will be checked out for you. Okay. Then you can edit the project. You can add a task, remove, change duration, update the task, add a constraint, everything that we will do just after. So you can modify it, and it's locked for all other people. And so they will continue. They are able to see the project. They will see the original version of the project. So they will not see your modification in live. When you modify the project, the modifications are not visible for the other people. The other people will see a special version of your project, which is the published version of the project. So, so you modify the project in a kind of private mode. But you want to save your modification, because if your computer crashes, you don't want to lose all your modification. That's why you can save from MS Project with a save button. You will save, but at that time it will be the same. The modification will not be visible for people. They are only visible for you. It's just a question to I don't want to lose my modification. Okay, so you save, and during this process, the project is still locked for you, so nobody else will be able to open it. So you save the operation, but after, when it is finished, you have to publish your modification. So you set them public, to remember the word. And at that time, so it takes maybe two seconds with this button here, so publish. And so the data are sent to the server, to the Project Online server, and they are stored in the database, but in the published status. And at that time, the different reports will be updated with the new data in your project. But the project is still in read-only mode for the other people. And at the end, you have to check in. So how can we check in? So you have to click on close. And when you click on close, you are want to say, do you want to check in your project? And here you must always say yes. Because if you don't, the project will be closed on your computer, but it will be always locked, and nobody will be able to modify the project. And even you will not be able to modify it. So when project asks you, do you want to check in your project, always say yes, because it's really it's safer to say yes every time. And maybe if you want to continue to make the modification, you can check it out again. It's not a problem. But if you forget to check in, it will be a mess to manage. You have to force the check-in, etc. So it's really a bad situation. And so when you are asked to check in your project, say yes, and we will avoid a lot of issues for it. Okay, so it's the main functions that you have to use in the day-to-day operation. So the cycle is, okay, I open the project, so it's in checkout. I make the modification, I save. When the modifications are all done, I publish. And when it's finished, I close the project and I accept the check-in. So the best would be to try that the duration between this step and this one is as short as possible. and to have a project in the correct status as soon as possible. Sometimes people save and publish directly in live, but sometimes it can happen that you have a lot of modification to do in your planning. So maybe at 4 p.m. you start to make the modification, so you check out, you save. At the end of the day, you did not finish your work. Maybe you don't want to publish it directly, so you save. You can save and check it in, so save and close. In that time, your modification will not be visible for people, but they will be saved and available for the next modification session. So the 3 buttons here are really have different meanings, and they are described here. Okay, but here it's maybe one of the most complex concept in Project Online, because we have check-in, publish, save, close, what does it mean, etc. So here I try to summarize things as simple as possible, but with some practice, I think it will be okay. Okay, some question at that time before we move to the exercise part. No question.
When you publish, but don't check in, what's the additional functionality? So it's viewable to everyone when you publish, but not available to edit, is
it? When you publish, the modification will be visible for everybody. Everybody will see your modification, but if they want to update the project themselves, maybe it has no sense for you because only one person maintains the planning, but other people will not be able to make the modification because the project will still be in checkout mode, so it will be locked. After publish, the project is still locked, so nobody can modify it.
And is there an easy way to see, it might be later, but what changes have happened since the previous version? Or
not really. You don't have a kind of audit of the values of the fields, and it's one of the weak points in project. When you change things, maybe you change a data, you don't have the delta between the current version and the previous one. We have some possibility to use what we call the baseline. We will see that after. If you want to make some big changes in the planning, you can save your current planning in a kind of baseline. So you take a snapshot of your planning before the modification, and after you modify, and then you will have 2 versions of your planning: one before the changes, and one which is a current version. But there is no automatic way to see, okay, I changed the duration or the date of the RTB from I don't know, the 3rd of March to the 3rd of April, for example. You don't have the trace of that.
Thanks.
Okay, so we will go into practice thing. I will move to the next slide. So in this step, we'll see if we can do everything, because I don't want that we spend 1 hour that all of the software are being installed for the web. But oops, there is a mistake here in the office. Do you know if you already have MS Project Pro installed on your computer? Maybe if you can show your hand in the comment section if it is, or maybe you can tell it directly, or say in the chat, okay for me,